Hi, I'm Adam Lanthome from the Boston Shaker at thebostonshaker.com. We're here at Grand and Union Square in the Boston Shaker section of the store to go over stirring a cocktail. Cocktails that are all spirits should be stirred, not shaken. Contrary to James Bond, when you have a nice clear cocktail, you want to keep it that way. And by shaking, you're going to end up aerating it and adding ice shards, which isn't really what you're going for. So to demonstrate, we're actually going to make a classic gin martini and go through the process and go through the stirring, and that way you know exactly how long, how much ice, all that stuff that, you know, in a recipe you might not get pointed out. So hopefully we'll clarify some things for you. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to chill my glass. And the way I'm going to do that is by cracking some ice. Oh. Put that one in. I have another shard there. And topping with water. Usually if I'm home or have access to a fridge or a freezer, I'll just toss the glass in there, but this will keep the glass nice and cold, because one thing about stirring or shaking your cocktail, cocktails should be cold, very, very, very cold. And when you put it in a warm glass, you're going to be removing some of that heat. So let's get the glass nice and chilled, and while we're making the cocktail, that will chill down, and then when we pour it in, it will stay as cold as we can make it before we drink it. Gin martini, classic proportions, 2-to-1. So we're going to do 2 ounces of gin. And then we're going to do 1 ounce of vermouth. I'm going to take a little side tangent on vermouth while I'm measuring this out here. Vermouth goes bad. A lot of people don't think about it that way, but it is wine. It's fortified wine, but it's wine. You wouldn't leave wine on the counter and expect it to last forever. So, let's get the little caps leaking there. So you want to keep vermouth in the fridge. That's 1 ounce of vermouth, dry vermouth, so that it stays as long as it can, but still you're talking 3 weeks, a month at the outset. So I know the big liter bottles of vermouth, cost effective, they're cheap comparatively, but you're not going to go through a liter, or if you do, that's pretty impressive. Even bars don't go through that much. So you want to buy the smallest bottle you can, usually one that's going to last you about 2 to 3 weeks, and then that way you'll always have fresh vermouth. A lot of people who say they don't like vermouth, or they like their martinis extra dry with no vermouth, is because most of the time they're drinking martinis with bad vermouth, and the vermouth, as it turns, it's getting more vinegary and it's an off flavor and you don't like it. So we have 2 ounces of gin, 1 ounce of vermouth. We're going to add some orange bitters. Orange bitters is a classic ingredient in a martini. So I'm going to use Regan's. I have a couple different varieties that I brought with me. For this one, I'm going to use the Regan's. It's kind of spicy and orangey, which will complement the gin and the vermouth. So I'm going to put 2 dashes in. And that was a dash, like a real dash, not a drop off the top. You want to give it a good pop in there. And that's what they mean by a dash. So we have our ingredients in the glass. We're going to crack some ice. The reason that we're going to crack some ice is a big cube like this is going to get in the way of your spoon. I'm using, this is called an ice tapper. It's an old tool that lets you crack ice. And the nice thing about using cracked ice, in addition to getting out of the way of the spoon, is it's going to help dilute faster. These cubes are great in rocks glasses because, come on, there we go, because they dilute slowly. There we go. That should be, actually I'll do one more, about 4 cubes of this size. There we go. There we go. So now we have our ice in our drink, and we're going to stir it. And we're going to stir it vigorously, but we're going to stir it. We don't want to do that chop that sometimes you see people, because that's actually agitating it. You want to stir it swiftly, but I mean you're not going a mile a minute. You just want to get it nice and chilled down. The ice is melting. You actually want the ice to melt. A very important part of a cocktail is the water dilution. It's going to help round out the flavors. It's going to help chill down the drink. Depending on where you are in the world, some people say 25% water dilution, some people say up to 40%. So if you're making a 3-ounce cocktail like we are right now, we should end up with just about 4 ounces of ice at the end. So, and you can see this is keeping it nice and clear. The glass is getting cold. Okay. And then we're going to strain it with our julep strainer. Fits nicely over this glass. We're going to dump our chilled water and ice. You can see the glass has a nice chill to it, and we're going to strain right in. There you go. You can see it's really nice and clear. I mean, there's going to be some settling, but compared to something with juice, that's a perfect crystal clear cocktail. And then we're going to garnish it. So now, traditional garnish for a classic martini. Olives are great. I like a lemon twist, especially with the vermouth and the orange bitters in there. It's a nice citrus. And what you want when you're doing a twist is to get all the wonderful oils that are going to come out. So what you'll see as we do this, I'm going to hold this right there. I'm going to dig it in, right? And then the oils are going to come right out of that spot there. So you'll see them hit the glass. You can see them hitting the surface. Usually when I end up getting this long, I'll kind of sweep my finger under. And I like a nice, long, there we go. And you can see all the beautiful oils floating on top of that. So now that we have our twist, one thing I like to do before putting the twist in is run it over the top of the glass. So that way you get nice lemon on every sip. And then you can curve it. Sometimes I'll wrap it around my finger like this. And sometimes, if I'm feeling extra fancy, is I'll wrap it around the bar spoon and get a nice tight curl like that. And then you get this beautiful twist. And that is a properly made classic gin martini, stirred until it's extra cold, nice and clear. Enjoy.